On News Hour tonight, Kano Governor Abba Yusuf meets Tinubu at Aso Rock amid defection plan. Confusion in Kaduna as government denies reported abduction of churchgoers in Kajuru. FCT workers begin indefinite strike, ground government activities. And on the foreign scene, 13 school children killed in South Africa minibus collision. Hello there, a very good evening. Thanks for joining us on News Hour tonight. I am Fatima Abbas Hassan. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on Monday met with the Kano State Governor Abba Yusuf at the presidential villa Abuja. The Kano governor, dressed in white agbada and red cap, entered the villa at about 4:10 p.m. Speculations have been on over the planned defection of the governor from the new Nigeria People's Party, NNPP, to the ruling All Progressives Congress, APC. However, reports have been ripe that negotiations have stalled over whether or not to give the governor automatic 2027 ticket. The governor's planned defection has been in the news for weeks, causing disaffection between supporters of the governor and his political godfather, Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso. Observers say the meeting with President Tinubu might not be unconnected with the planned defection. And still on politics, a former lawmaker representing Zamfara's Central Senatorial District, Senator Saidu Muhammad Dansado, has warned Kano State Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf against defecting to the All Progressives Congress, APC, saying history does not favor political betrayal. Senator Dansado gave the warning while appearing on a 30-minute current affairs program on Trust TV. According to him, from the Second Republic to the present Fourth Republic, politicians who abandon the parties and people that brought them to power often lose their bid for re-election. He stressed that the defection from one party to another, especially after benefiting from public support, usually attracts political consequences, noting that voters rarely forgive such actions.
Nigeria's political history has shown that whoever defects from his party and join another party for whatever reason, he lost second term election. Don't forget, in 2002, though not many people know this, President Olusegun Obasanjo had a meeting with 80 governors of the Southwest and pleaded with them for ethnic solidarity and requested them to please support him during presidential election.
Because in the first election, Obasanjo's party, the PDP, lost in the whole of the Southwest where he comes from.
In fact, even in his home state, Ogun, he didn't win his ward. Though he told the South government that, look, Northerners are mocking me, that I didn't even win my ward. So please, take me out of this wahala. Make your party people vote me massively for presidential election. Now,
because the elections are held on different days. The one for president will be on a different day, then the one of the governors will come second. But in the end, they also lost.
Except Bola Tinubu. Bola Tinubu told them, look, I'm not comfortable with this. Yes, we should assist him, we should help him. One, let's make sure he wins in Ogun, but marginally. And let's make sure we quadruple the vote he got in 1999. But we shouldn't vote him massively against our party. The remaining governor didn't accept his advice. And then he told them, count me out.
So that is how
all the remaining 5 lost the election. Only the present President Bola Ahmed Tinubu won his state. PDP won all the remaining 5. So this is the consequences of political betrayal.
And away from politics, suspected bandits have struck Kurmin Wali community in Kajuru local government area of Kaduna State, abducting over 170 worshippers during church service on Sunday. The incident occurred in the morning at Equa and Cherubim churches while the victims were in worship. Sources say 9 vulnerable persons among the victims later returned home. Confirming the incident, the Northern CAN chairman, Reverend Joseph John Hayap, described the attack as sad. He said 2 churches were affected during the attack in the area, adding that although he did not want to speak on the number of people abducted, the situation was troubling. In the meantime, the Kaduna State Police Command has dismissed reports of an alleged bandit attack in Kurmin Wali community of Kajuru local government area of the state. The Commissioner of Police, Mohammed Rabiu, stated this after a security meeting held with the Kaduna State Governor, Senator Obasani, and heads of security agencies in the state. The report.
The State Security Council meeting had in attendance heads of security agencies, commissioners, and traditional rulers from across the state. While addressing the meeting, the Kaduna State government commended security agencies for maintaining peace and stability. The government noted that the Kaduna Peace Model has played a significant role in restoring and sustaining peace across the state.
Through our collective resolve and coordinated action, this council deepened what has now become widely known as the Kaduna Peace Model. This model, rooted in inclusiveness, proactive engagement, intelligence-driven operation, and community ownership of peace, has yielded tangible results.
Shortly after the closed-door meeting, the Commissioner of Police, Mohammed Rabiu, told journalists that the reported attack in Kurmin Wali was merely a rumor and did not occur.
Yesterday, we were informed that there is bandit attack in Kurmin Wali, in Kajuru local government. We quickly mobilized our policemen, military and other security agencies to the area. But to our dismay this morning, till now that we are speaking, nobody is able to come out with any figure or name of any person that is kidnapped from that community. Our policemen, the chairman of the local government and other agencies were at the scene of crime, alleged scene of crime. We weren't there till now. There is no information about any attack or any kidnapping of over 300 persons.
Also speaking, the chairman of Kajuru local government area, Dauda Madaki, alongside the Kaduna State Commissioner for Justice, Sule Shaibu, described the report of an attack in Kajuru as false and misleading.
On reaching to the community, things were moving normal. We visited the church, the same 2 churches. There was no any evidence that shows that, yes, there was an attack.
And as government, His Excellency does not tolerate this kind of false narratives. And so we are here to make it abundantly clear to members of the public that the narrative from the Kajuru area that people have been kidnapped or whatever in the like of that is totally false.
Earlier, the chairman of the Christian Association of Nigeria CAN 19 Northern States and the FCT, Reverend Joseph Hayap, as well as the village head of Kurmin Wali community, Ishaku Dan Azimi, had reportedly confirmed the abduction of more than 100 people from the village. However, the Kaduna State Police Command insists that no such attack or abduction took place in the area. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
And our reporter, Bello Musa, is on the line from Kaduna to give us an update on the attack. Hello, how are you? Good evening.
I'm good.
That's it. Now, what's your take on, the confusion around what might or might not have happened in Kajuru?
Well, actually, there's confusion now because there's disagreement between the police, the community over the attack. Earlier, there was reports from the Kurmin Wali community in Kaduna local government that on Sunday, bandits in large numbers stormed the churches during church service around 9 a.m. in the morning, abducting about 177 persons, worshippers. Though the village head of the community said 11 persons escaped, and now we have about 166 persons in captivity.
Okay, so what can you tell us about the security challenges in that area?
Well, according to village head of Kurmin Wali, Ishaku Azimi said from 2018 to date, bandit attacked the area about 23 times. So Kurmin Wali is a community located in the bush in Kaduna local government area. And Kaduna local government area is one of the local government in Kaduna state having bandit attack on innocent communities.
Okay, so there is a possibility, that it has happened.
Yes, the local say it has happened, but the Commissioner of Police, Mohammed Rabu, after security meeting at the Sakasi Mibayam House in Kaduna, said there was nothing like attack in the community. Also, the Commissioner of Justice, Sulesh Abu, as well as the Chairman of Kaduna local government, Bura Makama, said there was nothing like attack in the community, described the report as false and misleading.
Okay, has there been any attempt to reconcile the facts of the matter, that is between the government and the people on ground?
No. As I said earlier, the government maintained its stand that there was nothing like attack, while the communities through the village head, Mr. Isha Kudazimi, said the attack took place during Sunday service on Sunday.
Okay, so we hope that as things unfold, we'll be able to get to the bottom of the matter. Thank you very much for that update.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So moving on, troops of the Joint Task Force Northeast Operation Hadankai have recorded major operational successes in the Timbuktu Triangle area of Borno State, clearing several Boko Haram and ISWAP terrorist camps and thwarting coordinated attacks by the insurgents. Latest achievements from part of the ongoing dry season offensive, Operation Desert Sanity, aimed at degrading terrorist strongholds and restoring security across the Northeast. Military sources disclosed that scores of terrorists were neutralized during the operations, while several others escaped with gunshots, wounds, as troops overran their enclaves. The Media Information Officer, Headquarters, Joint Task Force Northeast Operation Hadankai, Lieutenant Colonel Sani Uba, confirmed the development in a statement issued on Monday. According to him, troops advanced from their harbor areas on Sunday, January the 18th, 2026, to conduct deliberate intelligence-led clearance operations across identified terrorist hideouts in Chilaria, Garim Farouk, and Abirma. He said the operation was effectively supported by the air component of Operation OPHK, which provided sustained intelligence, surveillance, and resonance coverage, enabling real-time tracking of terrorist movements, deterring reinforcements, and enhancing the precision of ground troops. And in a related development, the Nigerian Air Force says over 40 terrorists have been killed in coordinated airstrikes carried out in Azir and Musarram areas of Borno State, foiling planned attacks on civilian communities. Disclosing this in a statement on Sunday, now spokesman Commodore Ehimen Ejodame said the precision strikes were conducted on January 15th and 16th. Ejodame stated that the strikes were executed by NAF aircraft operating under the air component of Operation Hadankai, following credible intelligence on terrorist movements and imminent threats to nearby communities. According to him, further scans revealed terrorist elements attempting to regroup under nearby tree cover, prompting precise and successive airstrikes that neutralized several of them. On his part, the Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Sunday Aneke, reaffirmed the NAF's commitment to providing timely and decisive air support to ground forces. And elsewhere, about 50 notorious bandits operating around Musawa, Matazu and Musa local government area of Kaduna State, as well as the Anyawa axis of Kano State, have been neutralized in a coordinated air operation by the Nigerian Air Force. The Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs in Kaduna State, Nasiru Muazu Musa, confirmed this in a telephone interview with Trust TV on Monday in Kaduna. He said the military acted on credible intelligence with support from some repentant bandits to successfully carry out the operation. According to the commissioner, the neutralized bandits were foot soldiers loyal to a notorious kingpin, Baidu, who is said to be opposed to the recent peace deal in Damusa and some parts of Kaduna State. Damusa stressed that despite ongoing peace accords, the state government remains committed to confronting armed groups terrorizing communities. He assured residents that with the cooperation of former bandits, several criminal elements have already been eliminated and that the campaign will be sustained until all threats to peace in the state are addressed. And the father of the prime suspect arrested over the killing of 7 family members in Orai Charench area of Kano metropolis, Malam Awal, has called on authorities to swiftly punish his son, Umar Awal, without delay. Umar, who is currently in police custody, is accused of murdering his aunt, Fatima Abubakar, and has 6 children in broad daylight on Saturday. The victims include Maimuna, 17, Aisha, 16, Bashir, 13, Abubakar, 10, Farooq, 7, and Abdussalam, 1.5 years old. Police confirmed that the suspect has confessed to the killings, as well as a recent attack in Tudinyola, where 2 housewives were murdered and their home set ablaze. Speaking in an interview, Malam Awal distanced himself from his son, describing him as useless to society and insisting that he should be executed rather than kept in prison. He further alleged that Umar had killed his younger sister some years ago and plucked out her eyes. The Kano state government has said it will personally lead the prosecution of those responsible for the brutal killing of a married woman and her 6 children in Orai Charenchi area of Kano City, an incident that has plunged the state into deep mourning and shock. The government described the killings as a cruel and heartless act that has profoundly shaken residents and constitutes a grave violation of humanity and the rule of law. In a statement issued by the Attorney General of the state and Commissioner for Justice, Abdul Karim Kabir Modi, SAN, the government said Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf had directed that condolences be extended to the victim's family and the people of Kano State. The Kano State government also commended the State Police Command for its swift response and investigation, which led to the arrest of the main suspects, linked to the crime. According to the statement, the prompt action by the police demonstrates the commitment of security agencies to fighting crime and restoring public confidence in safety and justice. It added that a special team of lawyers will be constituted to ensure that justice is fully served and that those found guilty are held accountable under the law. And away from Kano, in the Federal Capital Territory, workers of the administration under the Joint Union Action Congress have commenced an indefinite strike, effectively grounding activities across departments of the FCTA. The action adds to a growing list of labor disputes in the Federal Capital Territory since the appointment of Minister Nyesom Wike in August 2023. Trust TV's Newell Sampson, who has been monitoring the strike, reports the development has raised fresh concerns over staff welfare and labor relations within the FCT. His report.
Since Nyesom Wike assumed office as Minister of the Federal Capital Territory in August 2023, the FCT has witnessed at least 5 major industrial actions involving different categories of workers. Between March and July 2025, primary school teachers under the FCTA Local Education Authority embarked on a strike that lasted over 4 months, disrupting academic activities across the area councils. In the same year, area council workers under the Nigerian Union of Local Government Employees shut down council operations for more than 3 months over unpaid salaries and welfare concerns. FCTA and the Federal Capital Development Authority, FCDA, workers also staged a 3-day protest between June 30th and July 2nd, 2025, while resident doctors embarked on a 7-day warning strike in September 2025. The ongoing GSA strike marks the first indefinite industrial action in the FCT in 2026. Labor records indicate that most of the strikes since 2023 were triggered by unpaid entitlements, delayed promotions, and the non-implementation of the 17,000 minimum wage. Although several strikes were suspended following ministerial interventions, union-saying agreements were rarely fully implemented, leading to repeated industrial actions. As of mid-January 2026, the FCTA has yet to issue an official response to the latest strike notice, raising concerns about possible disruptions to public services in the nation's capital. However, a visit to the FCTA Secretariat in the central area revealed a calm atmosphere with security personnel from different agencies present. Striking workers were seen waiting around the premises, while the main gate of the Secretariat remained shut with no vehicles allowed in or out.
Mass failure of just the concluded CBT exams. We know that we're not done. Things went wrong. The systems were failing. Some you log in and it will tell you no login in details. Power failure. And we wrote to them that you need to look into this. But to our greatest dismay, last week Tuesday, the letters were signed and released. 22.5% success rate. That is a no-no for us because we know the problems. We are agitating for overhead that has not been paid. I think I talked about overhead. We are agitating for intimidation of our staff by certain privileged people on top. Let's say I make a mistake as the staff of the FCT. Somebody just brings in a police person to come and arrest me inside the office because he's my boss without following the procedural way of handling grievances in the civil service. We are agitating for tenure elongation that shouldn't be. If it's my time to retire, I should retire and go in peace, not to be retained because it stops others from coming up and so it stunts our growth. So many issues, lack of materials to work with. The joy of being a worker and having job satisfaction is when you are allowed to deliver your work, do it well and with happiness, not to just come and see it because you don't have this, you will not be able to work.
As at time of filing this report, authorities were yet to respond to the demands of the workers, with unions insisting that previous promises have not been translated into concrete action. The latest strike once again places the spotlight on labor relations in the Federal Capital Territory and the growing pressure on authorities to deliver lasting solutions. Well, Samson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Meanwhile, members of the All Indigenous Contractors Association of Nigeria are back on the streets after promises made following earlier protests remain unfulfilled. The contractors, who insist the protest is peaceful, however, vowed that they will not leave until their outstanding payments are settled. Abibat Ajayi has the details.
This protest takes the story back to where it all began. Months after demonstrations at the National Assembly and despite reported presidential directives, indigenous contractors say nothing has changed. It is a familiar scene, but this time with deeper anger and growing desperation. According to the association, contractors submitted detailed lists of completed projects and beneficiaries for payment, yet most members say they have not received a single naira. They also dispute government claims that over 80% of the outstanding funds have been paid.
We are here because they've reneged on all agreements. We had an agreement with them that they will pay most of our contractors. We've given them the names of contractors, completed projects. To date, they've not paid. And the worst thing that they did was that on 31st, before they closed the portal at the AGF, the accounts, all finalized payments, none of our contractors has received 1 naira. Even the ones that they were supposed to raise their warrants for. You know, the Minister of State promised that they will release the warrants. We should come up with our list. We've given them all their needs. To date now, we've not seen any warrants approval.
The association says contractors are owed over 4 trillion naira, covering payments from projects already completed across the country. They warned that the ripple effects extend beyond contractors, affecting banks, families, and the wider economy.
We're talking about over 4 trillion. Because as we speak now, there are so many other projects that has been completed. To date now, that has not been paid. The next line of action is, if they don't kill us, the economy of this country will die. Now, as we speak now, most of these contractors have collected funds from banks, could not even pay. Bank has seized most of their properties. So some have died. So now, as we speak now, we are ready for the worst.
Tensions escalated during the protest as contractors alleged the security operatives fired live bullets at peaceful demonstrators.
The Minister of State was about entering and she directed her people to shoot at us. When we are gathered here, legally demanding for our payment. And the police just shot at us. This is the bullet. This is the bullet. At a peaceful protest. We are harmless. We do not have anything with us. We are just sitting down, protesting peacefully, demanding for our money, our payment. Agreements they've entered with us severally, which they've not kept any one of them.
As contractors continue to demand answer and accountability, attention once again turns to the government over the whereabouts of the funds and when these long-standing debts will finally be settled. Habibat Ajayi, Trust TV News, Abuja.
This is the News Hour on Trust TV. Coming up after the break, federal government rearraigns Showore on 2-count amended charge. The details when we return. Don't go away. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is the News Hour on Trust TV. We now take a quick look at the major stories once again. Kano Governor Abba Yusuf meets Tinubu at Aso Rock amidst defection plan. And confusion in Kaduna as government denies reported abduction of churchgoers in Kajuru. And now taking you back to an earlier story on the visit of Governor Abba Yusuf to the presidential villa. We now have joining us via Zoom to discuss this at APC chieftain and 2023 Kano State Labour Party governorship candidate, Engineer Bashir Isaac Bashir. Good evening, Engineer. Thank you for joining us. Hello there. Can you hear me? Are you with us? Hello there. Hello, engineer. Can you hear me? I'm afraid it looks like we have lost contact with him. We're hoping to join him in the course of the bulletin. President Bola Tinubu has conferred the Grand Commander of the Order of the Niger honor on his long-lasting associate, Gilbert Chagori. In a letter cited by Trust TV, the president said Chagori was given Nigeria's second highest honor because of his contributions to the country. In 1971, he co-founded the Chagori Group with his younger brother, Ronald, an industrialist conglomerate with interest in construction, real estate and property development, flour mills, water bottling and purification, glass manufacturing, insurance, hotels, furniture manufacturing, telecommunications, IT, catering, and international financing. There was a controversy in 2024 when Tinubu awarded the $11 billion Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway project to Chagori's High-Tech, a deal that came under scrutiny due to the lack of public bidding as well as the long-time association between Tinubu and Chagori. It has since been reported that Tinubu's son, Seyi Tinubu, sits on the board of one of the Chagori's companies while also being a joint shareholder in the British Virgin Islands with Gilbert's son, Ronald Chagori Jr. The Adamawa State Independent Electoral Commission has commenced the screening of chairmanship candidates ahead of the June 13th, 2026 local government elections in the state. The screening exercise is scheduled to run from January 19th to January 23rd, 2026. Trust TV's Gibson Saudigo has that report.
The screening exercise officially kicked off at the headquarters of the Adamawa State Independent Electoral Commission in Yola, with candidates from the African Democratic Congress, ADC, and the Social Democratic Party, SDP, being the first to appear before the commission. The exercise forms part of preparations for the forthcoming local government elections, following the successful conclusion of party primaries by various political parties across the state.
My name is Oscar Presilia. I'm from Mitka Local Government.
Speaking at the screening venue, the chairman of ARTSEC, Muhammad Umar, said the commission is committed to conducting a credible, transparent and fair screening process in line with established electoral guidelines. According to him, all candidates will be given equal opportunities and assured political parties and other stakeholders that the commission will remain impartial throughout the exercise.
All interested political parties have conducted their primaries, collected, filled and submitted their nomination forms, CF001 and EC4C. Subsequently, the Commission has received and verified all submissions and particulars of candidates and had then published them at the local government offices of ARTSEC headquarters. The next schedule of activity on our calendar is screening of candidates as submitted by political parties, and that's the reason we are all gathered here today.
In separate remarks, some chairmanship candidates expressed satisfaction with the smooth commencement of the screening exercise, expressing optimism that the process will produce credible candidates for the elections.
We are very confident. That is because we believe in our people, and we know our people are with us. And we are very confident we are going to scale through.
I have finished my own interview, my screening, and my vice here, she's here, we have finished. So I believe that whatever it is, everything is free, fair, and we are running for the same post.
Meanwhile, the commission announced that the screening of councillorship candidates is being conducted simultaneously at the various local government headquarters across the state. ATSEC reiterated its readiness to ensure a hitch-free process as it intensified preparation for the June 13, 2026 local government elections in Adamawa State. Gibson Adugo, Trust TV News, Yola.
The Lagos State government has warned residents to stay away from accident scenes following reports of fuel scooping from a fallen tanker at the Tinker-Liverpool Bridge area of Apapa. The warning came after a diesel tanker overturned on the bridge inward Mile 2 early Monday, spilling its content and causing severe traffic disruption along the busy corridor. The Lagos State Emergency Management Agency, LASEMA, confirmed that the tanker was leaking diesel and that emergency respondents were immediately deployed with all relevant agencies placed on alert. Authorities cautioned residents against engaging in dangerous activities around the scene, particularly fuel scooping, while motorists were advised to avoid the axis and use alternative routes. Despite the warning, videos circulating on social media showed residents scooping diesel from the tanker using jerry cans. The Department of State Services, DSS, has taken a former Attorney General of the Federation, Malami, into custody. DSS operatives reportedly picked up the former minister shortly after he left Kuje Correctional Center, having met his bail conditions. Sources say Malami is facing a fresh investigation by the secret police following the alleged discovery of arms at his Kebbi residence during a search by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. It will be recalled that a federal high court on Wednesday granted Malami, his wife and son bail in the sum of 500 million naira each, with 2 sureties. Prior to his arrest, Malami had alleged through his media aide Mohammed Bello Doka that the DSS was planning to rearrest him after his release. As of the time of filing this report, the DSS was yet to issue an official statement on the development.
Okay, who is your guy among you? Can I see your ID card to be sure?
And in a similar development, the federal government has rearraigned human rights activist Omoyele Sowore on a 2-count amended charge of alleged cyber-stalking against President Bola Tinubu. Sowore pleaded not guilty to the charge, which stems from posts on social media where he allegedly referred to the president as a criminal. At the resumed hearing before the Federal High Court in Abuja, counsel to the Department of State Services, Akilolu Kainde, informed Justice Muhammad Umar that the amended charge removed social media platforms as defendants, leaving Sowore as the sole defendant. While the prosecution expressed readiness to begin trial, Showore's lawyer, Abubakar Marshall, objected, citing the failure to attach witness details and statements as required by law. After arguments from both sides, Justice Muhammad Umar adjourned the case to January 22nd for trial. After the court session, Omoyele Sowore addressed journalists, describing the amended charge as an attempt to intimidate and silence dissent.
If somebody is going to give evidence in a criminal trial, the defendant has a right to in advance have a copy of his own claims. And then he can adequately prepare for the trial. In this case, they didn't know who, they just said we have a witness in court. And the judge laughably said, even if it's an evil spirit, we must know what is coming to say in court. That was how that adjournment was secured. Apart from other things, but this is an active case, a very active and radioactive case. But the interesting part is that, as one of our lawyers said on TV one to another, the president has not complained that he's not a criminal. He didn't complain to anybody. It is busybodies at the DSS who have nothing to do at the time that the country is in need of their intelligence expertise, so-called, that they went around trying to please the president. Maybe they have some money left out there for lawyers, and they just want to find some people to give briefs to.
The district head of Miri in Bauchi State, Alhaji Hussein Abubakar Othman, has urged communities in the area to allow their families to participate in an upcoming demographic round of a health surveillance exercise aimed at uncovering the causes of morbidity and mortality among children under 5. He made the call at the primary healthcare center in Miri while addressing community leaders ahead of the exercise. Trust TV's Adamu Imam was there and now reports.
A team of health experts says the demographic round exercise is designed to identify key health challenges affecting children under the age of 5 and to develop practical solutions that will complement government efforts to tackle the problem. The exercise will be carried out across selected communities with the support of religious and traditional institutions. We should cooperate as it is in our own interest. I appeal to everyone not to relent. Each person here represents their community, so you should immediately engage other community members and explain what is expected of them. This CHAMS project, which is recognized by the state government, is conducting health research in our communities to understand the reasons for the high rate of mortality. We therefore encourage you to allow your wives to attend antenatal care regularly. Other key stakeholders in the health sector also spoke on the importance of community cooperation, stressing that active participation is crucial to improving health outcomes in the area.
There, telling our people that they have to accept all the necessary need, what our health facilities and our leaders are giving to us. They are doing this in order to protect our life, our wealth, our lenience and whatever. So they should not deny it. If they don't understand, they have to go back to their scholars and ask them. It is there in their religion. They should not ignore. We are the ones supposed to organize it in order to protect our child and their mothers. So since CHAMS has taken over, we are very happy. We appreciate the effort they have been making for us, more especially those areas that they cover.
Honestly, this health engagement is timely. It is not the first of its kind. From time to time, we are enlightened. We pray that God will help us to discharge our responsibilities as community leaders, especially in taking good care of all family members, particularly the vulnerable ones, including unborn children who are yet to be born by God's grace. They explained that the overall objective of the exercise is to provide a reliable sample frame for epidemiological studies and accurate data for computing disease prevalence and mortality rates, which will aid in evaluating public health interventions. Adam Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
You're watching News Hour on Trust TV. The news continues after the break. Do join us again. And now a bit on business. The International Monetary Fund, IMF, has revised Nigeria's economic growth forecast for 2026, raising it to 4.4% from 2.2% projected in October 2025. The revised outlook was published in the IMF's January 2026 update of the World Economic Outlook and unveiled on Monday. The fund's upgrade to Nigeria's outlook is part of a wider assessment of global economic conditions, which the fund expects to remain relatively stable in the coming years. The data suggests that Nigeria's improved outlook is consistent with gradual but widespread economic strengthening across the region rather than an isolated revision. Nigeria's revised forecast builds on a period of significant economic adjustment marked by policy reforms and efforts to restore macroeconomic balance. The federal government says Nigeria's non-oil exports for the year 2025 stood at $6.1 billion. The development was announced by the Executive Director of the Nigeria Export Promotion Council, Nonye Ayeni, at a news briefing on Monday. While giving a breakdown, she explained that the figure showed a growth of 11.5% compared to the $5.4 billion recorded in December 2024. Ayeni noted that while the top 3 export destinations for the year were the Netherlands, Brazil, and India, a total of 1.23 million metric tons of goods were exported to 11 economic community of West African states, ECOWAS countries, with Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, Togo, and Benin topping the list. She, however, explained that the exit of Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger led to a decline of trade within the ECOWAS sub-region as well as Africa. A further breakdown of the 2025 report of the non-oil sector showed that 281 products, which include agricultural commodities, processed and semi-processed goods, were exported. Top products on the list of non-oil export include cocoa, sesame seed, urea, soya beans, and rubber, among others. And away from Nigeria, a minibus carrying students to school collided with a truck in the south of Johannesburg on Monday, killing 13 people, South African police said. It was the latest in a string of deadly crashes in a country whose modern road network is undermined by rampant speeding, reckless driving, and poorly maintained vehicles. The crash happened near the industrial city of Vanderbijlpark, about 60 kilometers south of Johannesburg. Police said the driver of the minibus appeared to have lost control while attempting to overtake other vehicles. The toll rose to 13 after an injured child died. The Provincial Education Department said in a statement, several children were also badly hurt. Authorities did not immediately release the ages of the children, but Provincial Education Minister Matomi Chiloni said they were from primary schools, where pupils are aged from 6 years, and also high schools.
And more importantly, also to check, because we are still checking if there are no police, if there is not a movement. That will be part of the investigation.
Obviously, we're reviewing the policy entirely, but we want to get to a point where we are able to even refuse with learners at school if the vehicle is not up to standard. And this is where we're going with the review of the policy, which also empowers us to be able to protect learners from our side as a school.
Similarly, a high-speed train derailed and was hit by another in southern Spain, killing at least 39 people and injuring more than 120. Authorities said on Monday. This was the deadliest train accident since 2013, when 80 people died after a train veered off a curved section of track outside the northwestern city of Santiago de Compostela. The crash happened on Sunday evening when a train operated by rail company Arroyo, traveling from Malaga to Madrid, derailed near Adamawa in Andalusia. It crossed onto the other track, where it crashed into an oncoming train, which also derailed. Transport Minister Oscar Puente said at least 39 people died, warning this toll was not definitive and could still rise. And in sports, it's time for us to join Kabir Lawal for the sport update.
The 36th African Cup of Nations train will move over to East Africa and will be jointly hosted by Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. Incidentally, both Tanzania and Uganda were at the 35th edition in Morocco, but Kenya was absent. The Confederation of African Football (CAF) will officially hand over the African Cup of Nations AFCON flag to Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda following the conclusion of the 2025 tournament final. The symbolic ceremony will mark the formal transition of hosting rights to the three East African nations, who will jointly stage the 2027 edition of African Flagship Football Competition. CAF's decision represents a historic moment for the East African region, as it will be first time Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda collaborate to host the continent's biggest football event. The handover signifies the start of full-scale preparation as the host nation move into the spotlight ahead of tournament. AFCON 2027 is expected to provide an opportunity for East Africa to showcase its culture, hospitality, football passion, and infrastructure to the rest of the continent and the global football community. From fan engagement, stadium development, and tournament organization, CAF anticipates a vibrant and unified hosting experience when Africans converge on East Africa in 2027. The journey to AFCON 2027 officially begins with flag handover as Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda prepare to write a new chapter in African football history. That's Sport News. I am Kabir Lawal.
Many thanks, Kabir. And with that sport update, we come to the end of Trust TV News tonight. Do not forget to follow us across all our media platforms and join our YouTube live stream for more news. I am Fatima Abbas Hassan. Thank you for joining us and wishing you a pleasant night rest.